off a roof. So this fellow's friend came to tell him that my friend ain't coming back because he just jumped off a roof. Okay, let's see if we're sharing the right dot. No, we're still not sharing the right dot. You have to wait till the share updates. Okay, now the share is updated. Okay, so Zakta Helig Gemara. We are more than halfway down, so we're up to the point where he said, "Loi matza tshuva oivecha v'nafal min agag umeis," because he didn't want to come back. I know somebody who was in Shidduchim, and he knocked on the door to pick up the girl, and when he saw her, he didn't like what he saw. And this guy was a little crazy guy, and he said, "Hi, are you Rivki?" She said, "Yes." "Oh, I'm David. Chaim, who was supposed to come on the date, sent me here to tell you that he's really not feeling well tonight and he can't make it."
That's an urban legend. But
Okay, so let's see what the Gemara says over here. Omer Loy, the Rebbe is a very nice man, and he told this Min, would you like to join me for lunch? Omer Loy, hey, sure, I'd be delighted to join you for lunch. After they dined, Omer Loy, Rebbe told the Min, now, for sure, Rebbe was not going to give a min to bench Birchas Hamazon alakos. What was really happening was he was going to bench Birchas Hamazon alakos. Rebbe, maybe there was minyan there or mezumah there, and this min would have merely answered amen. As Rashi says, in a moment, Rebbe said, either you'll be here to answer amen, or if you want, I'm willing to pay you 40 zuz to leave now, because I don't even want you answering amen to my bracha. As Rashi says, arbaim zuvim, char arba brachos, she'alma acharei amen. So Rashi says, I'm going to pay you just to say amen. So you see from here that amen, saying amen, is just as powerful as benching, which puts a whole new twist on this halacha. Because halacha is, if someone's supposed to bench Mezumah and you chop it from him, you got to pay him 40 zuz. But if he can answer amen, then you don't have to pay him 40 zuz because he got his 40 zuz worth in the amen. Unless you chop the benching from him and somehow prevented him from answering amen, you wouldn't be liable to pay the 40 zuz for Birchas Hamazon. But whatever the case is, from the fact that Rebbe was going to give him 40 zuz for the 4 amens of the brachas and Birchas Hamazon, proves that you're paying 10 zuz per bracha. So Zok to Gemara, what did the min say? Was he going to get paid off, or did he want to stay to be able to answer a min? So what happened was, Omer Loi, the min answered, Kois shal bracha ani shois. I will choose to drink from the Kois shal bracha. I want to participate in your benching. That was a very chashuv move on behalf of the min. At that point, Yotza Baskel v'Omer Kois shal bracha yishva arboim zehuvim. Kois shal bracha is worth 40 zehuvim. And that's Poishet Shaila earlier, that it's 10 zehuvim per bracha. Omer Rabbi Yitzchak, this fellow, what he did, made such an impression in Shemayim that it gave his family a very strong position of stature in Rome. Adayin yeshna lois mishpacha ben gedoyle roimi, v'kayin oisa mishpachas bar Livianus. The article says Livianus means Meloshin lion, and the reason why it was called bar Livianus lion because Rebbe Yehuda Nosti was also a lion. So they actually named this family. This family took on the name being that he had this interaction, this positive interaction with Rebbe, and he had somewhat a relationship with Rebbe, that catapulted his family to a position of stature, and they even called them the Rebbe family, the Rebbe Danasi family. Their name was permanently changed, and they were referred to as the family that had a connection with Rebbe Danasi, and the schar of him choosing to do the brachas rather than to take the money is what made the family have such longevity that even hundreds of years later, their family was still from the prime families of the aristocracy of Rome. Zok Gemara. Kisov in Iskala. The Mishnah says if someone made kisadam and the sand blew off, you don't have to do it again. Why should Kisu Adam be any different than a Shabbos Aveda? Yomar Mar, Hashev, it says Hashev Teshivim, you can find in Aveda Hashev Teshivim, and Mar said, Hashev is not Pilu Meya Pam. Even if he loses the same object 100 times, you still have to make the effort to give it back. Amar Lei, Rabashi answered, Hashem like Siv Miyuta. It says Hashem Teshivim, it's only a riboy, no meat at all. It says it doesn't say v'chisa ba'afar, v'chisa hu ba'afar. It's a mere to tell you the mitzvah is to do it once. Once you've done it, you've discharged the mitzvah, and you no longer have to do it again if the offer blows up. Kisa or ruach, Dr. Mishnah, that's not called a kisui, and you would still have to make kisui down. Omar Rabba Bar Barchan, Omar B'Yechanan, L'shanu ela shechozer v'niskala. Not only if the wind blew the sand off, so there is what to cover. Because there's nothing left to cover. It was in a condition, in a status that you couldn't do the mitzvah. So now the mitzvah is nipka. We know by kachim, if a carbon becomes possible even temporarily, we say kibbutz de. So why is it any different over here? Omar Papa Zoyte Meres ain't dichlu etzel mitzvahs. By kachim, there's dichlu. By mitzvahs, there's never a dichlu. If it's in a temporary condition where you can't do the mitzvah, so you won't do it. But if that condition changes and now you can do the mitzvah, avada, you'll still have to do the mitzvah. What about it says that if you shechted and the dam is nivla b'karka, it's chayiv l'chasos. Why is it chayiv l'chasos? It's like chloit chazer in this gala. So Gemara, hasam kirishumei nikir. Yes, it's somewhat absorbed the ground, but you could still tell that the dam is there. Therefore, you would have to make kisa. Zok tehelig mishnavayt. Dam shenisar b'mayim. The blood of the kisei adam that you would want to make kisei adam got mixed in with water. The question is, at what point is it bottle, and we say that you could it's no longer dam, so you can't be behind the mitzvah of kisei adam. Zok Mishnah, im yesh boy maris dam, if it still has a maris dam, it still looks like dam, has a reddish coloring. Chayiv l'chasik. You're still mukhliyah to do kisei adam, that has a status of dam. Nisar v'yayin. What if it got mixed into wine? Now the problem with wine is it's the same color as the blood. Now, how are you going to tell if the blood is bottled? You look at the quantity of water, of dam, that got mixed into this specific quantity of wine, and you compare the result if it would have been water. If the dam is nicker, it's still considered dam, and you have to make kisei. Nisar b'dam habehema. What if the dam of this chaya got mixed into a dam of a behema, which of course does not have a chiyuv of kisui? Turning on top of pays. Or b'dam achaya, or it was mixed with the dam of achaya, which Rashi says not dam achaya that would also be mechuyev in kisui, but it would be dam hekes shachaya. If they let blood out of a chaya, so you didn't shech the chaya, that blood sure does not need kisui, only the dam of the shchita. But once again, it was mixed in with other blood and did not have a chiyuv kisui dam. The same thing, you look at it like they're water and you make the assessment as whether or not the dam would be visible. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ein dam mevatel dam. There's no such thing. Dam is never mevatel dam because min b'minoi and min b'minoi is not both. As Rashi said, ein dam mevatel dam. I feel ein mar dam nekeresh b'mayim kamois dam behema. That even if you don't see the dam in mayim, if you had the same amount of mayim as this behema, even if you wouldn't be able to see it, and if it would have been water, you wouldn't be able to see it. Nevertheless, ein adam haya botel, except for min b'minoi levatel. Since it's mixed into blood, min b'minoi is levatel. This is the next part of the Mishnah. We've learned already. Hanitet. What if some of the dam spritzed out of the zone where you were doing kisui, further along, a little bit further away, or v'shalasakin, or a dam hanefesh that's on the actual knife? That's chayiv l'chasais. And this is where the Gemara brought a raya from at the beginning of the parak that you are goyrer dam from a place like from the sakin to make kisui dam, and the Gemara stole that too to the mizbeach. Why aren't you goyrer the dam off the mizbeach after you make zrikas adam? Amar Yehuda, Emasai, when do you say this? Zman she'en dam elahu. When do you say you're goyrer from the sakin and you take the damanitas? That's if there's no other dam with which to be mekayim the mitzvah of kisui dam. Avol yesham dam shaloyu. But if you have anyway other dam that you could be mekayim the mitzvah of kisui dam with, patim l'chasas. So clearly, Rabbi Yehuda holds that you don't have to make kisui dam on all of the blood of the animal. You have to make kisui dam on a sampling of the blood. So even if some of the blood is not involved in the kisui, that would still be acceptable. We're going to see this is actually a three-way machlok. Nam harpam. We learned in the Mishnah, dam shenisar v'mayim, dam that got mixed with water, im yesh b'maris dam kosher, then it would still be kosher. What are we talking about now? Here we're talking about the mitzvah of zrikas dam of the karbanis on the mizbeach. So the kohen was makabel the dam in a keli properly, and then it got mixed in with water. Now the question is this dam diluted, and therefore you won't be able to do zrikas dam? The Dr. Mishnah, im yesh b'maris dam kosher. Nisar b'yayin, same thing. Roi noisha kilu mayim, nisar b'dam behema b'dam achaya. Roi noisha kilu mayim. And Rabbi Yehuda said the same thing as he says in our Mishnah, ein dam mevatel dam, because min b'mino is levatel. Amar Rav Pia bar Ava, Amar Rav Yehuda, lo yishonu ela shenaflu mayim l'soich dam. This whole discussion that the dam is not bottle is if you had a big vat of dam and water fell into it. So now you need to see if the dam, if this suspension has a status of dam. But what if avol nafel dam l'soich mayim? What if you had a big vat of water and the dam dripped in, drip by drip, into the water? There for sure it's not called dam. Why? Because rishon bottle. As each drop fell in, sure the sum total of the blood that falls in might have a maris dam, but as each drop fell in, it surely didn't, and then each drop was bottled. If each drop was bottled, we don't have any dam here. Amar Papa, well, the Indian kisui ain't okay. But when it comes to kisui dam, the halacha is not so. And eventually, if the maris dam shows up in the water, it will be considered dam for kisui. Why? Because a dichu etzel mitzvahs. As we said earlier, there's a din by kachim dichu. Once one drop fell into the water, that water at that dam at that point is for sure not dam. It's blood. We know by kachim, once something becomes putra, it's not chayja veneris. But that only applies to kachim. But when it comes to kisui dam, which is a regular mitzvah, avada, even though as each drop fell in, it was bottle, but now you look at the sum total, the dam is visible and recognized in this suspension. Therefore, you have a chiyuv to make kisui dam. Amar Yehuda Mishmur, kol ma'ir admumis, any slight red tinge, mechaprin, umachshirin, v'chayovin bekisui. So mechaprin means pashtus if you're going to spritz it on the mizbeach, and machshirin means it's considered a machshir to be machshir shvorim l'kabel tumah. Hayovim bekisui means it'll be b'chuv in kisui dam. So, break the Gemara. What is the chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda Mishmur? Ma'ika mashmalon mechaprin tanina. Mechapim we learned already because we quoted a brayso that if water falls into dam and there's a maris dam, you have to do drika. And chayovim b'kisu tanina. And our Mishnah tells us that halacha b'kisu dam. The only Mishnah we don't have a makar for is machshirin. The Dr. Murray, that's what Rabbi Shmuel is really coming to teach us. Machshirin is trichaler. Break the more machshirin nami. Why do I need Rabbi Shmuel to tell me that dam mixed with water, where you can see that it's dam, that's mashir l'kabel tuma, it's considered a mashka? Let's think about it. Idam, you have a mixture between dam and mayim. Idam, sure machshir. If this suspension is considered blood, dam is machshir. It's one of the sheva mashkim. But in maya, even if it's water, and you say the dam is bottled in the water is also machshir right in the kabel tuma. In maya, sure machshir. So what chiddush again is Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel telling me that it has the status of dam? It doesn't matter what the status is, whichever one it is, it will still be machshir right in the kabel tuma. Zok to Gemara, l'tricha shetamdu bebegisham. You know what you did? You dropped this blood not into water that already has a status of a mashke. It's water of megishamim. Now the rule with megishamim is if you capture it and you want to use it for something like washing dishes, washing your hands, drinking, that's when it becomes a mashke l'kabel tuma. But the water that just drops on the ground, that's watering the grass, that does not have a status of a mashke. So Zog the Gemara, you poured the dam into megishamim, which did not yet have a status of a mashke. Therefore, if it will be considered mayim and not dam, it will not be machshir zroim l'kabel tuma. But for the Gemara, megishamim nami, given the shakel v'rami yachshavinu. You're telling me it was placed in the keli, and you're pouring this dam into that keli. Well, the mere fact that you actually put the megishamim into a keli, that already has made it into a mashke. That will therefore allow it to be machshir l'kabel tuma. So then the question arises again: what's the difference if this suspension is dam or mayim? Either one would be machshir l'kabel tuma. There was water in the bucket, and dam fell into it, or vice versa. There was dam in the bucket, and it rained in it. So no one ever placed the rainwater anywhere. It's regular rainwater that does not have a din lahachshir l'kabel tuma, and therefore, unless this suspension has a din of dam, it would not be machshir l'kabel tuma. And that is the chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. However, the Gemara offers another shot in Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. I'm sorry? Rabbi Asi Mina Harville Omer. Rabbi Asi Mina Harville said, Bitlalosa the dam. You know what we're talking about? We're not talking about actual dam. As dam begins to coagulate, when the blood starts to scab, its moisture leaves it, and that's how it hardened. The moisture that leaves it is a clearish, yellowish type of water that's much less viscous than blooded. And that's what we're talking about as to whether or not that's going to be machshir, that's going to be mechaper, and that's going to be b'chud and kisui. So it's a whole different halacha. We're not talking about anymore that something got mixed with water. We're talking about this, the loss of the dama, is it going to have the properties of dam, the gabe achiv rikas adam, the gabe achiv kisui adam, and will it be dam lahachshir zroim? And that's the chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel that in fact it does. Zok to Gemara, Rabbi Yirmiyah b'difti Amar onish kares. This is real dam, even though it's not red. If you ate it, you'd be chayiv kares. However, v'hu de'ika kizayis. That's only if this moisture that you have came from a kizayis of dam. So you might ask yourself, if there's a kizayis, you have to eat a kizayis to be chayiv kares. So if there's a kizayis of this clear liquid that came from dam, there must have been a kizayis of dam, which is a little bit difficult. But the Archro brings a pierce, I believe, from the Tosfos Harid, that says that the balt, this water, is much less viscous than the dam. Then it's possible to have, which means this water is much less dense than dam, which means that the water that comes out of it would actually take up more volume than the dam itself. Therefore, the Gemara has to tell us, if Yirmi has to tell us that there had to have been at least a kezayis of dam that this loss of the dam came from to validate it as dam legabe the chiyuv paris if you ate it, legabe hechsher zroyim, legabe chiyuv zrika, and legabe chiyuv kiseda. Zok to Gemara weiter. B'masnita Tana, we learned the Bryce. Metamin ba'oil, who the ikar revius. Now, dam that comes from a mace, if there's a revius dam that comes from a mace, it has the regular halacha as a regular mace, meaning that it's metama ba'oil. Tanan hosam. Kol maska habeis v'hayrin. So we just learned that dam that comes from a mace is metama ba'oil. But we have a kasha from a Mishnah. Tanan hosam. Kol mashka mace, all the mashka that comes out of a mace, the hayrin are tahar. What are the examples of mashka that can come out of a mace? The Rashi dimas enoi here, or if or if it's a woman, her milk, that's going to be tar. The only thing that's tamei that comes out of a mace is chut midamoy. It's blood. The blood on mace we know it's tamei boil. The chol mar admu mishaboy, and any slight tinge of red, mitamin boil, would be mitame boil. Umashka mace. So Fekkamar Umashka mace the hiring. You just the price or the Mishnah that we just quoted said, Kol Mashka mace the hiring. So Dimas Einoi Chalavisha would be tar. The only Mashka mace that's Tame is Dam. Fekkamar is that though? We're a mini. Mashka Tfulyoim, if any mashka comes out of a Tfulyoim, any liquid that comes out of a Tfulyoim. So a Tfulyoim is somebody, let's say, who was Tame B'Sheret. He toivel, he has to wait still to the evening. So if any mash comes out of him, his saliva, his tears, the halacha is, it has the same status as Kamashkin Shedegeben. What if it's full yoim touches a mashke? The halacha is it's not Tame at all. So therefore, any mashke that comes out of a full yoim is not Tame either. Let's turn on to the Pei Ches Amud Aleph. The elu, therefore, in mitamin. So sai maska hayoyte min hatful yoim, sai any maska that touch hatful yoim are not to be tame. There's no gzeir derabanan of tuma by such a maska. B'shar kol atmei, while all other tumois, ben kalin, sai if they're light tumois, ben chamurin, sai if they're severe tumois, mashkin hayoyte mehen will be kamashka hanagoy mehen. Now, what does this brisa refer to when it says a tuma kala and a tuma chamur? Now, the halacha is, regardless, we treat any mashke that comes out of them like mashke that touched them. And therefore, the elu tchila, anything that touches them or that comes out of them will have a din of rishon l'tuma, chutz min mashke, except a mashke that comes out of them, shel avatum. And now the Gemara says, let's try to understand what does the Brisa mean by kalin, or what does it mean by chamur? My kalin or my chamur? My love, the most logical interpretation should be that kalin means sheret v'zov. So tuma kala is tuma sheret or tuma zov. Any liquid that comes out of the sheret, any liquid that comes out of the zov, has a din of an avatoma. If it's a solid that comes out, it's going to be a rishon l'tuma, and if it's a liquid, it's going to have a din of an avatar. What's an example of chamur? Mace. So you see that mashke sheyoytim in a mace, and mashke that touches a mace is an avatoma. So how could we say earlier in the Mishnah that mashke yoytim in a mace is not tummy at all, only dam? When this process says that tuma chamur, which we're assuming means a mace, any mashke that comes out of it has the din of an avatar. So to see, Dr. Gemara, Chullin is referring to sheret, and the chamurin is not. But in fact, by a mace, there's no tuma at all. By maske, yoytim in a mace. which is counterintuitive. The Rabbanan were geyser that the mashka that comes out of a zov, who's an avatuma, it has a din of an avatuma. So mashka that comes out of a mace, which is an avia voisatuma, surely the Rabbanan should have been geyser as well tuma on that mashka. The Gemara Maishna Zov the Gozru Be Rabbanan, who Maishna Mace the Lo Gozru Be Rabbanan. The Gemara is a huge difference. Zov the Lo Bedili in Shivnei, no one stays away from a Zov. First of all, you don't even know who's a Zov. You don't know who's who. You see a guy walking down the street, you can't tell if he's a Zov. So therefore, the Rabbanan were concerned that people will have too much interaction with them. They didn't want that to happen, but therefore they had to make a Gzera. But Mace the Bedili in Shivnei, a Mace by nature, people stay away from Mason. Therefore, there was no need to be geyser. As Rashi says, first of all, a live person people don't stay away from. But you can't tell if somebody's when he walks down the street. But a mace, most people don't go touching mason. It's not comfortable. And everybody knows this is a mace, which is an avia v'shadoma, therefore they weren't kosher. Okay, Baruch Shem Yerushalayim, they finished off Pei Zayin, which poses like poses, I think, means delicious food. This tomorrow we'll learn Peches.
Yeah.
Everybody should have an awesome day.
Man.
Akiva, I feel terrible that I locked Rav Ephraim out. I really want to see if we can find a way to fix that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll